Welcome to the Tech Force Airgun Guru Show. And today we're going to do the video in what we call the series of the how-to videos. And what we're going to do is mount a scope. And a lot of you folks know how to do this, but there's quite a few out there that do not. And this is for the folks that don't know how to or never mounted a scope. So we're going to start with our trusty Tech Force 97 air rifle. And our Tech Force mounts. Let me open these up. I think he's got the camera on the one in front of the stand there. Let me bring these little guys out. And these are the mounts. Let me see if he can get that. These are, of course, steel mounts, Tech Force. You can see the bottom here is smooth. This one has a little stud protruding to it. Well, I didn't want it to roll off, but we'll stick her back up there. Little stud that's protruding to it. Now once we take the tops off, because the Tech Force air guns are not drilled for these studs, we'll just back that out. Because with the Tech Force air gun, we use the scope stop that's utilized here on the Tech Force 97. So another feature of these little mounts, which I like, and if I can get the light here, where it clamps onto the rail, you have two screws that clamp on the rail instead of one, which I really like that. And again, these are steel mounts. And I'm going to roll it over here to the top. Another thing I like about Tech Force mounts, 4 screws, 2 on each side, to keep perfect pressure on that scope. So these are 1-inch scope mounts. They're, again, the steel Tech Force scope mounts. And one of the ideal scopes for the Tech Force 97 is a 2-7, a 32, and we're going to use this scope with these mounts to put it on this gun. So very simply, we'll start by taking the tops off, and I'm going to have the cameraman stop that, and we'll restart when I get these off. This will take nothing but about a minute. Alright, now we have the tops of the mounts off, and we're ready to install them on the gun. Now let's go back to the one we were talking about with the pin that protrudes through the bottom. I'll roll this over and hopefully the cameraman can get this. There's the hole. Use your little hex Allen wrench. You just back it out to where it's flush, and that takes care of that. I've loosened the sides up, so let's go ahead and try to mount this on the gun. You got 2 rails here on a 97. And so you want to get the notches there. This is the most important thing about mounting a scope. Get it flush, the back mount flush against the scope stop. Alright. And then we'll just tighten this up here. Take a second. Alright. Now one thing, you get your back one secured. Then we're going to go to the front one. Now, remember, you need a space between there so you can adjust your scope for your eye relief. So I try to give it about 1 inch on each side, somewhere in that neighborhood. So if I have to move the scope, we can slide it back and forth. So again, you want a nice little gap between there. So we'll get it back here. And we get these little guys mounted on. Yeah, we gotta back it out a little bit. Sometimes it even takes the guru a little extra time to get these things set on there, but this is part of it. It's part of your learning experience. Okay. We got it. We got it in there now. Alright. Now, you got your 2 mounts. They're open on the top. And again, your scope just drops in there. You pull it up to your shoulder, and you slide that scope until you get a perfect circle, perfect eye relief. And that's where you want to stop. So you move it to where you hold it up to your shoulder, look through your scope. When that circle's perfect, that's where you want to screw it down. So then the next process is very simply putting the caps back on the top and screwing it back down. Alright, we're going to turn the camera off so I can do that, not take up your time, and then we'll turn it back on when I get that done. Alright, now we got the 2-7x32 scope mounted on this Tech Force 97. And let me get my little pointer. And again, going back to some of the other videos, the most important thing when you're mounting a scope is, number one, make sure the rear mount is up against the scope stop flush. That keeps the scope from moving on you. Number two, go to the front here, make sure you got the clearance where the scope's not sitting down on the receiver. So you got to have your little gap there. So once you got that, you know you're ready to go. You've got your eye relief, you slid this back and forth till you got the perfect circle, and then you clamped your tops down. And I've unscrewed these prior to turning the camera on. But these are your adjustments. You're up and down. That's a 1/4 inch to the click for your meters, left and right, windage. And as you can see, I don't know if the cameraman can get a good shot of that, but that's how you adjust it, very simply. Now what I normally do is I start at 10 meters and I'll take a box out there and throw it out there in the backyard and tape me a little target to it. And sometimes I cheat. I use a laser pointer where you put it in the muzzle and you're going to calibrate your sights to, till you get it perfectly on the target. And that's what I've done here. So when you get done at 10 meters with this box, you get it zeroed in, and hopefully if the cameraman will swing down to the end of the target, that's where you want to hit, dead center. So again, I cheat it with this little sight, point sight. You put it in the muzzle, and for saving time and money for me, I can do it indoors, and I can adjust my scope and bring it on the target without even firing it. But that's another video, another story down the road. So start out with your box, throw it out about 10 meters, tape your target to it, and get her dead center right there. And that's where you want to be. So there's really shouldn't be any anxiety or anything to worry about mounting a scope. They're simple. You want to make sure that you do not over tighten the scope. Strip your scope screws here out, because you don't have to do that. Snug them up, snug the top ones up, and that's it. You're ready to go. And simply, when you want to take it off, as you've seen on each mount, you got 2 screws. You just loosen them up, slide the scope off, and you go back with your open sights. Beautiful part about this scope, you don't pick either the front or rear sight up in the field of view. So that should do it for the simplicity of mounting a scope by the Tech Force Airgun Guru here. And again, if y'all have any questions or have anything that you want to explain in the video, we'll try to do it for you. We try to make life simple. Air guns are supposed to be fun, and we want to keep them fun. And we do these videos to where everybody can understand, what we're doing here. We don't cater to the experts out here, because even the old guru, you learn something new every day. So it's a learning process. It's a lot of fun, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, cheap entertainment. So from the Tech Force Airgun Guru, have a nice day.